It's time for The King and the Cop with the legendary former MLB great Jim Leyritz. And with 100 years of law enforcement in his blood, Tommy Sedner. It's all things sports, plus cop talk, current events, entertainment, and more. Joined by America's favorite Jersey girl, Robin DeLory. It's The King and the Cop.
It's February 12th, and it's the national holiday today. Is it Super Bowl Sunday, or is the holiday the Jersey girl's birthday? Happy
birthday, Robin.
How about a little toast to the girl? What are you?
Yes.
35?
Yeah.
What Super Bowl is this, Jimmy? It's
57.
Well, we know you're not 57, so happy birthday.
Thank you. I love it.
What are you mad because the Super Bowl's on your birthday?
You know, it's funny though. When somebody asked me what I wanted for my birthday, I said, this is all I want. I want to get up, and then I want to get ready to do a show about sports that I know nothing about. It'll be so much fun.
You know why I know that's true? Because
Jimmy's
representing the Giants today with a shirt on. I'm representing the GOAT.
Wait a minute. This is the lesson, people. Watch. Hello, Mother.
Hello, dear. Happy birthday.
Thank you,
Happy
Mommy.
birthday. Mother's on the air. We're on the air, Mother.
We're on the air, but I want to, just reiterate to all of my listeners that whenever your mother calls, wherever you are, you answer, because you never know when those calls are going to stop.
That's right.
Not to be morbid, but probably took that a little left.
That being said, we'll call you back.
All right, Sue. I'll see you later. I'll have somebody pick you up. It's probably going to end up being me, but hopefully we can get somebody else to help me out a little bit.
Not too early.
All right, Sue. Love you.
Anyway, welcome back to the King and the Cop, and it is Robin's birthday, and we're celebrating on Super Bowl Sunday with a little house party.
Answer the phone when your mother calls, people.
What say you, Mr. King? Where are you headed today for the Super Bowl?
I'm going to be heading down to San Diego. We got a real estate convention starting today. I got to go down there for my AmTrust title work. There's about 8 people coming in from New York. We're going to go down and watch the Super Bowl. And then, of course, the meetings start right after Super Bowl all week long. So I'll be in San Diego for a couple of days.
If you can't be in Arizona at the Super Bowl, what better place to watch the game than San Diego?
No better place.
No better place. We'll be
Exactly.
in a couple weeks. Now, I'm gonna at 12:15, George Flakowski, one of the New Jersey Legend sports reporters who comes on our show and we're familiar with, is going to come on and talk about, as a Giant fan and covering all of New Jersey sports, what it's like to root for the Eagles, because half of the state of New Jersey is rooting for the Eagles, whether we like it or not. The 609ers, they love the Philadelphia area.
I got to tell you guys something. I kind of feel like I shouldn't say this, but I have to say it as a Jersey person. Their spirit is overwhelming. I mean, the pictures
they
that I have
assaulted
seen,
Santa Claus.
No, but you have to see these women are wearing gowns with eagle, thing. It is really fun to see.
Well, Jenny Groover, our good friend, is Miss
Yeah.
Philadelphia. Vince Papale, the great movie Invincible. Been following them. Vince has got his own podcast.
It's fun to see.
But Jimmy, how far are the Giants and Jets off from making us happy and being in the Super Bowl? What's your thought on the Giants? I mean, are we a win away, or are we in a tough division now? What do you think?
Listen, I think the way the season ended, I think it's a great opportunity. We got Coach of the Year. Daniel Jones is kind of coming to his own. And if they can re-sign him and Barkley, I think they got the makings of a team that can compete next year. They'll be able to, if they can re-sign those two, they can send their draft picks on more offensive line, defensive line to make the rest of the team better. So we'll see what happens.
What do you think? I'm wearing the GOAT, Tom Brady, the Buccaneers, of course. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame as a Patriot, but I'm wearing our shirt to our friends down in Tampa. It feels a little weird when Tom Brady's not in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's unusual. It's unusual, but you got to think about it now. Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes have kind of replaced that. As they seem to be the team that every year is either going to be in the championship game or the Super Bowl. So
agreed.
The new GOAT is arriving.
Yeah, I know. The new GOAT's arriving, but I think the new GOAT's from your hometown in Cincinnati, Joe Barrows. I think he's Joe Cool, man. He's just I'm sorry he's not in the Super Bowl this year because I think he deserved to be in. And I really do know that not one play, two play changes the game, but it really seemed like the refs were just not that qualified against the old Bengals there. They were beating them up for different reasons. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was a toughly officiated game, and of course, as a Cincinnati fan, we're not too happy about it.
Yeah. Now, as a point spread today, because we know this is one of the hugest days for gambling, even the average person who knows nothing on football likes to watch it. It's a holiday. We're having people over for Robin's birthday, but it'll be fun. The Super Bowl will be on. But what's your pick there, big guy? And what's the spread right now?
Well, the spread is 1.5 Philadelphia, but I mean, I kind of like that. I have them winning 34-31.
34-31. And Miss Hanover Park, legendary sons who played for the high school in Hanover Park. Who do you like, Chiefs or Eagles? Now, you spent a lot of time down in South Jersey with Miss New Jersey, down in that area.
I just it's like rooting for the Braves. You can't do it. So I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to go with the Chiefs. And I visited Kansas City once, so that's about the extent of my caring.
So are you gonna put a little wager on today's game? Got to make a little birthday money?
Nah.
Roll your birthday money?
I don't bet. I'm not a gambling man.
So far, what's happened for your birthday this morning?
We had 3 dogs.
Right.
Yeah. So there was one dog threw up on the carpet.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I had to clean that up. You got me a beautiful cake and donut and my Starbucks coffee. Right. That was beautiful. That's right. Very thoughtful of you. Right. Thank you.
I just want to make sure.
Later, I will host a house full of people and heat up some wonderful food that you ordered. So I appreciate that.
What do you mean you're hosting? Meaning you'll have to clean it up? Is that?
I'm pretty sure that's the way it's gonna go.
Jimmy, does the Layers household?
My mother will come. I'm not done.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. It's your birthday. You go first.
I should always go first.
Go ahead.
So then my mother will come over and she'll bring her little Cavapoo dog. She'll talk to the dog the entire time while she's here. The dog will growl at the other dog and it'll be complete and utter mayhem. But I have to say that the best present I got so far was a FaceTime from this man, and nothing will top it.
I'm gonna make a brand new start of it in old New York.
So he called me and
Uncle
FaceTimed me.
Uncle Lou.
And the FaceTime was just adorable because it looked like this.
You could only see his.
Happy birthday to you. It was fantastic. He said, I love you so much and all of that kind of stuff. And tomorrow he's coming over. Great. And he's going to make a big deal of coming over. And I'm going to make a big deal of him coming over. And that has been the best gift that I've received so far.
Beautiful.
Oh, Joey said, happy birthday. Michael texted me in the morning. He said I had to leave for work, but I'll be back for your birthday. So all in all, it has been so far a great day, albeit sans the fact that the Super Bowl ruined February 12th.
Jimmy, 2-hour ride to San Diego. What's it like down there? What time do you head out?
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. And you go to a special place to watch the game, or what? It's just
we'll check into the hotel about noon, and then about 2:00 head over to. There's a couple little bars, sports bars, right on Coronado Island.
Yep,
that we'll probably go watch the game at.
We love Coronado Island. Big military showing there. Jimmy, what 75 and sunny, I'm sure.
Oh, happy Super Bowl.
Actually, no. Today we're a high of 53.
Really? That's it?
Yep. Yeah, it's a true football Sunday here.
Wow. Joe Caruso, happy Super Bowl Sunday. Jimmy's dear friend, and Jimmy manages him down in Yankee Fantasy Camp. Happy Super Bowl Sunday to you.
Happy Super Bowl, Joe.
Joe's a good man, him and his wife.
And so.
Yep. So, Jimmy, what kind of game you think? You think it's going to be that high scoring of a game? You're saying, or what? Eagles got a tough defense.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a betting man, I don't like the game itself. I do think the Eagles are going to win, but I don't like to bet that game myself because you never know with Mahomes. But to me, the more sure bet is the over/under, which is 50.5. I think playing in Arizona, playing with good conditions, I think these teams put up lots of points because I mean, Philly's defense is much better than Kansas City's, but I do think the receiving team for the Eagles today is going to be the difference. And I actually think AJ Brown might be the Super Bowl MVP this year.
Wow. It's very interesting because here's a team that won a Super Bowl, I believe, in 2017, 5 years ago, and they already turned over their coach, Peterson, who's back in the NFL, and he's a great coach. But you wonder, there's been Andy Reid, now Kansas City's head coach and the Hall of Fame coach, actually, was the Eagles coach, and he was let go, fired, whatever you want to talk about. But this is interesting dynamics because the Eagles' current head coach, young guy, 3 young kids, was also fired from the Chiefs. Now he's playing against them. So there's a lot of what would you call intangibles going on here of different scenarios, and that makes for an interesting game. And Jimmy, what do you hear? Because you really do have your finger on a sports pulse, and you athletes play a lot of golf together, different kind of gatherings together. Is Mahomes healthy? What are you hearing on that end?
In today's game, it's so different because you have the 2 weeks off and you have PRP and you have stem cell treatments that are legal and are miracle workers.
Right.
And I think he's going to come back. And if I'm Philadelphia, I'm going after the ankle. And not blatantly, but just enough to when I tackle him, I turn it a little bit, and just little things that you can do when you're under the scrum. Just turn the ankle a little bit, lay on it, whatever. But I do think that that could happen again, because the only thing about, even though the injury might be not hurting him, but it's still weak because it's been strained. So
right.
There still could be a chance he gets hurt.
Well,
like I said,
let me ask you this question: When you played in several World Series, you were all banged up, and I'll be quite honest, and you get shot up. Does the adrenaline take over from the moment? There's no. I would say this is a Game 7 of a World Series or an NBA championship. The Super Bowl is a one and done. The hype is ridiculous. Are you even feeling that pain at a certain point, unless you really get whacked? I mean,
not in one game. If it was a 7-game World Series, by Game 7, it might be wearing off. But this is like you just said, this is a one and done. And I think, like I said, going in, he'll feel 100%. But it could take one hit or one twist that he could get hurt again. So, but then also on the other side, Jalen Hurts isn't 100% either.
Correct.
So we'll see what happens.
Well, we just hope they both stay healthy, because what we don't want is another 49 scene where the quarterback gets hurt and then it's just a disgusting football game. On another note there, birthday girl, one of the bigger things on Super Bowl Sunday is the commercials.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about that?
The commercials, Jimmy.
Did you hear the one about Jesus?
I did not.
There's a beautiful commercial. Did you hear, Jimmy?
I have not seen it, no.
Well, there's a controversy over a Super Bowl commercial that's coming out. I saw bits and pieces of it. It's beautiful, about Jesus. Just even one of the images said JESUS, and they highlighted the US. In an effort to unite us, right?
Right.
Jesus. And it's just a beautiful, splendid commercial that became political, and there's controversy over it. So, nobody's happy. Everybody's fighting in this, this completely polarized political world that we're living in. And I find it, my personal opinion, I find it really disheartening that we're actually going to have a problem with a commercial about Jesus.
Yeah, really. Can we take one day off?
And it's the from what I've seen so far, it's really truly, in an effort to just unite everyone. I can't think of a better. I know, baby.
No.
I know, but like I know, but like you do that when I'm talking, and you gotta like at least do this, like.
No, I just want.
Okay, like,
I want to get back to this conversation because I think it's what's going on in our country, and like after the State of the Union by the president and all this, I want to get into it. But I know we got this man for a few minutes, and
I know,
and I want to bring George on the air and join us, George Flakowski, New Jersey reporter, legend, and he's here and he's joining us.
So you want me
now
to let him go ahead
to come in so he can weigh in with us and. How you doing, George?
Yeah, pretty good. We got the Giants thing, and there's the King of '96 has joined us. Excellent, very nice to see. Is that a Burris jersey you're rocking there, or what's going on?
That is a Plexico Burris jersey, correct?
As long as it's not Dave Brown, I'm okay.
Oh,
I'm a bit of a special teams guy myself, so I want to show you that. Ready for this? Here we go.
Nice.
Can you see that?
Number 18.
Yeah, my boy Jeff Fields. I got this right before the Super Bowl in 2007. I want to say, way to go, HP. Love that shirt. And Tommy, unfortunately, is mixing new Bucks with old Bucks.
That's right.
And if you've seen any of my social media stuff on baseball caps, I want to reach through the screen, grab that cap, and bend the lid properly because
Robin too.
You're a little too hip hop today, buddy.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going Brick City here. I'm going with the flat top. It makes my
you got to
George. Behind me you can't see, but I have about 30 hats on a rack, and
I got a bunch over here. We're good.
Yeah, most of them are bent, and
this one's better.
So exactly. But
now we're talking.
Yeah. What is this?
Now we're talking.
That's the Minnesota Twins. But
it looks like Twin Cities to me.
Exactly. So George, what do you? I mean, geez, you covered everything. You covered our Giants Super Bowl. What, for starters, what's your favorite Super Bowl?
Well, it has to be the first Giants Super Bowl because I never thought it would happen growing up. And if you've been a fan, I mean, and maybe Jimmy can appreciate this too. I grew up as a Yankee fan, and they were second place best. That's all I ever got. And when they finally win, you can't believe it's real. And especially with the Giants, because I started out a little kid in 1970. And I remember very specifically, if they won the last game of the season, they were going to make the playoffs. And they were playing, was it Detroit the last game of this? Whatever. They were playing at home, and the game was on TV because of the blackout rules. So I'm literally sequestered in the laundry room at my parents' house with my little AM little radio, and they lose 30-3. So I was on my path to being a Giants fan. And then, of course, in '78, we had the fumble game against you-know-who when the credits were running. And Charles H. Milton III, director and produced by, it was just, it was the worst thing ever. But that was the game that sort of, that was the burn down and everything. The Phoenix rose from the ashes. And when they won the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos, I was living and working in Massachusetts. I tried to watch the first half with my roommates, my housemates. I couldn't do it. It was bad luck. They were losing. Things weren't right. I ran up to my room, closed the door, black and white TV. And, of course, they came back and they scored on every possession in the second half. There was the quarterback sneak by Rutledge. There was bang, bang, bang. It was McConkey rolling around, waving his arms. And I kept waiting for something to happen that was going to say, no, that didn't happen.
Right.
And, Black Sox scandal kind of thing. They win the World Series, and a year later you find out there was gambling. Something bad's going to happen. And Sports Illustrated came out, and I'm looking at the pictures, and maybe you guys know the feeling. It's like, okay, that's the Rose Bowl. That's Super Bowl. I've seen the Bronco helmets. Super Bowl. Who are these guys with the blue hats with the red stripe? It didn't make any sense. And then I got a Super Bowl football from my friend Patty Moyles and Jerry Cosby. They saved me a game ball, sent it, and I would hold it every day and look at it, and I kept waiting, and it's going to happen. Something's going to happen. They're going to take it away. And 6 months later, the first exhibition game was against the Patriots at Old Schaefer Stadium or Sullivan Stadium, whatever they called it at the time. And when I went with a friend from school, we sat on those old rotten steel bench seats, and about 100 Giants came out, and they just lined up every 5 yards all the way from like the 45 to the goal line. And at that point, I said, "It's for real. The Giants have really won the Super Bowl." So it was pretty emotional.
Jimmy, what about you? What's your favorite? Was it the first Super Bowl, or was it the miracle when we beat the Patriots there?
Yeah, I would say the Patriot one. The Patriot one was my favorite.
I love it.
Wearing that helmet, George, would be more comfortable than the hat he's wearing right now.
I can't. This one won't actually fit unless I pop out the ear pads. But that's it, dude. This looks all scratched up.
That's old school there.
Sure
hey, George.
Yes,
George. One of the arguments we've had with Tommy is that we have to pick a Super Bowl winner, and of course, as a Giants fan, most of the time people don't want to pick the Eagles.
No,
I picked the Eagles because I want our division to win. What do you think?
Okay. Well, I agree with everything about the division, and I'm a big NFC guy, and I think they're a fabulous team, even though they keep kicking my favorite team's rear end. But the only time I have been able to physically root for the Eagles was when they beat Brady.
Okay.
Because I had a buddy who I knew since Little League. He was a first baseman. He passed away from ALS, and he was the biggest Philly fan, biggest Eagles fan. And I remember when he had first been diagnosed, and I would go to visit him. And you know how it is when you're close with somebody, you can have kind of like open talks about even the most touchy things. And I said, "Well, gee, Bob, do you have like a DNR, or do not resuscitate? I mean, how do you want to do this?" And he says, "Well, I have that." He goes, "But I have a specification that if the Eagles make the Super Bowl, they're to keep me alive as long as possible." And it was Bob Grill was his name. I love Bob. And, he passed away about 8 months before the Super Bowl. He passed away in the spring before that season. So a friend of mine, and it hurt me to do this, he lost a bet to me when Tebow signed with the Eagles, and then he bought me a Tebow jersey, like a Chinese knockoff.
Yeah.
So I put it on that day in honor of Bob, and that was the one time. But I'm going to go a little off this. I can't root for him this time. And I think Kansas City has the secret weapon that nobody wants to talk about, and that's their defensive coordinator, Coach Spag, Steve Spagnuolo. People forget, man, he's won 2. He's been to 3. And Jimmy, you know this. Tommy and the birthday girl know this. He was the defensive coordinator when the Giants beat the undefeated Patriots. So I think they've given him 2 weeks to work on whatever the Eagles do. And they might be a little underrated, but I think Coach Spags is going to come up with something for the Chiefs.
Head coach? Why has he never been a head coach?
He was a head coach. He was a head coach for the Rams for a couple of years. Didn't work out, and then the Giants brought him in when they dumped McAdoodle, and so he took over for a couple of months there. Like I think he had 4 games, 1-1, something like that after they fired McAdoodle.
I thought you were going to tell me you were because we got 2 Rutgers boys on the old Chiefs too.
Nah, Rutgers is great. I love the fact that Rutgers guys are there. I mean, I love me. The local angle was everything when I was at News 12 because you would literally. We would fight with our news director who wanted us to get rid of NFL Sunday Ticket to save money, and because why do we care about the Chiefs? And I would say because they've got 2 Rutgers guys on the team because all the guys we followed in high school, all those years, the McCourtys and you name them.
Yep.
Now we're following them. Greg Olson, these guys. Ray Rice. We followed them in the NFL, and all our highlights we tried to do it in a way to localize the coverage, like. Here's Greg Olson for the Carolina, making a catch, and this guy and that, and here's McCourty making a big play, and we would always do it that way. And so I'm all over it, and I love it. I love the story, but despite years of trying to act professional,
hey George, you guys,
I'm not. I can't. So I'm taking the Chiefs by 4.
All right, we're gonna get to a little bit more.
Thank
but
you,
one
Connie.
thing,
Thank you.
Connie saying happy birthday, Rob.
Say that too loud on TV, we'll get in trouble.
Hey, real quick, both of you, since we're on New Jersey, and how about our boys on Fox News? The broadcast is an all Jersey team we got going here today. Yeah.
And Olson's one of the guys we covered in high school with his dad, and his brother was his older brother was a quarterback. His youngest brother was a quarterback. Neither one of those guys really panned out. But Greg, he was the biggest kid, strongest kid, played linebacker, tight end. You could see it even back then.
Yeah.
And, of course, Chris, the dad, was epic. He was so good to us over the years. I know there was a little controversy near the end of his term at Wayne Hills when there was a problem with Wayne Valley and this and that. But you know what? When it was all over and they wouldn't talk to us at Wayne Hills and they shook our News 12 truck because they were unhappy with the coverage and it was fair, he gave me the first interview after they won the state championship at the Meadowlands. And it was funny because I think it must have been, I don't know, it was Comcast, whoever, but they had the rights. And Chris came to me. So I'm a big fan of the Wayne Hills boys. They did right by me, and he was always very, very good to us. So
let me ask you both. Brady's going in the booth. He's taking a year off in 2024. How do you get rid of Olsen? And is it going to be a 3-man booth like Monday Night Football back in the day? What's your thought on that, Jimmy? What do you think? They just going to throw Olsen out and throw Brady in?
I think you have to have a 3-man booth. I think, especially from the beginning. Also, for the reason why I don't let Olsen go, because I don't even know if Brady's going to be good.
Right.
You know, we don't know what Tom Brady's, you know.
That, you know what? And that's the thing, is that a lot of athletes, all respect Mr. Laritz, think you can just transition into broadcasting. Yes. And you know what? It's hard. What did Tom Hanks say in League of Their Own? If it wasn't hard, anybody could do it. And I'm not going to name names here, but there are a lot of people who thought they would be great in TV, or who we as media people covering athletes said, oh, this guy's going to be awesome. And they weren't. And I'll give you one tiny example because he's a friend of mine, and I'm sure has no problem me telling the story. When Bryce Salvador retired as the Devils captain, 15 years, and he's a big, good-looking guy. Everybody loves him. He got on a TV. He had a really hard time. And he knew I was teaching broadcasting on the side at Kean University. I teach Montclair, Seton Hall. And he asked if I could help him. And the MSG guys, who I worked with in 95 when the Devils won the Cup, handed him off to me for a summer. And I basically taught him my media performance class. And now every time I hear people say, Bryce Salvador, one of the really up-and-coming analysts in hockey, and I'm like, yeah, they paid me like $1,200, but okay, I'm proud of him, and he's done a great. But it's not easy, and we don't. And Jimmy, you're right. We don't know if Brady's going to be good. Yeah. You know who shocked me? Who I was like, oh, there's no way. It was Romo, and he's unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly right.
He's like the new Hank Stram, and us older people remember Hank Stram on the radio doing Monday Night Football, and that famous NFL film scene of him saying matriculate the ball down the field.
Right, exactly.
Tony Romo sits there and calls the play before it happens. Yeah. He's a Cowboy. I couldn't stand him. He's a great color guy. So we don't know where Brady's going to fit in. I know he's going to take a year to learn. Maybe they can hire me. I'm available. So
George, can you hear me? Yeah. I love you talking all of this local stuff because it's so near and dear to my heart. Yeah. So I was wondering. HP. Yes. Well, I'm an alumnus, like going on homecoming.
Scotch Plains family kid.
Anyway, I wanted to ask you, my friend who is an alumnus of Hanover Park, he had a little idea that started growing and growing and growing, and his name is George Muha, and he has this outlet called Morris Sussex Sports. And you got me thinking about when you're talking about helping people with broadcasting, because he's taking these young kids that, you know, are really so smart when it comes to the world of sports. And he grooms them to be the broadcasters for the local games that are put on YouTube. So it is so nice to see these young kids following, you know, high school kids of their own age, right? And then they get better and better and better. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I want you to check it out because I think you would be, you know.
Sure, send me the link.
Yeah, it's called Morris Sussex Sports. And in your spare time, I think you'd be a wealth. Sure. Well, I mean, I know you're very busy, but I think you'd be a wealth of information to these kids that, you know, want to do what you've done. And that's George's whole inspiration to kind of help young, you know, budding journalists, sports journalists.
Budding journalists.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, you mentioned Kevin, Jimmy. I mean, I remember, and Tom, you'll appreciate this because you had a hook in with the Bears, obviously.
Yep.
And Kevin was like the media guy for the New Jersey Jackals.
I know.
Like 15 years ago.
That's amazing.
I mean, the Jackals, they're not even there anymore. They're moving to Patterson, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But
that's another subject.
I mean, my career didn't blast off like some people's did. I didn't get on the air till I was 34 because part of that was I was working in Boston and they didn't want anybody from the New York, New Jersey area getting on the air.
Right.
But I did, and I did okay. I did a pretty good job, and I'm still doing a little bit of it, but now I'm teaching it. And, I tell kids, it's when I teach in school, I go, I'm a kid from Scotch Plains whose parents didn't graduate high school because of the Great Depression and then the war. All right. I went to the first school that accepted me, which was Kane College, because it was 10 miles away and I could drive there. And so I failed my major my first semester. And yet somehow I graduated with honors, somehow won some Emmy awards, got on the air, had a really good career. And so if I can fail my major in my first semester and still accomplish some stuff, all these kids that are listening or that or that Jimmy knows, you just keep swinging. Keep swinging, and then Wallers will hang a slider, and then you'll win the World Series.
and we'll talk about you for the rest of your life, and that's the truth. Hey, George, we split this New Jersey state, and we're blue and Giants and Jets. But really, in fairness, you get past exit 82, and you're running into a little green there. You're a Philly and Eagle fan. It's like two separate states. Even our own governor can't pick somebody, but
our governor's from Massachusetts. So he's a knucklehead anyway.
The seaside,
and the last guy,
Mason-Dixon line.
The last guy is even worse because he's a Cowboys fan and he's a Rangers fan. And I was so happy to interview him at the Meadowlands after the Giants won their last Super Bowl because he was not in a good mood that day. And I was right there saying, "Hey, how's it going? How's it going, Governor?"
So
I'll give Christie credit. I'll give Christie credit because you know what? He doesn't give a crap. He just says, "I like the Rangers and I like the Cowboys." And
George, pork roll or Taylor ham?
Yes.
Which one?
You just
yes.
Why? What do you call it?
Oh, I'm a North Jersey guy, but I respect the state. So whatever you roll with. I did a story for Chasing News a few years ago. I went down. I went down to Lakewood because the Blue Claws were doing a pork, egg, and roll night. And I was asking people about it, and there was one lady who was very adamant and very snooty, and she was probably named Karen, perhaps.
Right.
I remember asking her, and she says, pork roll, very indignant. Pork roll is a brand name like Oscar Mayer. And I'm like, well, maybe. And she goes, well, it is. And she got really offended. And so there's a dude wearing like a pork, egg roll, and whatever shirt. But he was a Taylor ham guy. So, I mean, whatever. I don't know. I mean, look, if you like the sandwich, you want to throw some ketchup on it, I'm cool.
Jimmy never
I live in North Jersey. I respect my Southern brothers and sisters. Whatever you like.
Jimmy.
But you do not want the Eagles to win. So
no. My dad, I'll say this. My father did work for Tasty Cake for 34 years. I was raised on that stuff.
My dad
we do have a little bit of a Philly connection.
My dad Tasty Cake before he became a Newark cop. Jimmy, you're getting heat, man. Here, this Eagle pick. I don't even understand. It's your expertise. It's like your heart. You want them to win. I don't understand.
Okay. Because
drop dead, no way, Eagles.
It's because as a football fan, I am a divided fan. I love my Cincinnati Bengals still, but I also root for my Giants.
Right.
So when the Kansas City beats my Bengals, I cannot root for them.
That's such little.
I also think that he is saying that in the safety of his California home when he lives here in New York and he's sitting at that bar at Lugeri's or whatever it's called. I'm close to it. I don't really think he'd be saying that right now because I got popular there.
Right, I got something for Jimmy because he and I have a little something in common. Is that, and Tommy, I think you know my dark secret. Is that I grew up a Yankee fan. That's not a dark secret at all. But I did work 10 years for the Red Sox network.
I know you did.
And I know that somebody in the upper right corner of the screen also played for the Boston Red Sox. And I saw him hit a home run, I think off David Wells. It was like the week after the perfect game. Yeah. I was at that game. And I was taught, and this might be in the second book, my boss told me, you root for the team whose logo is on your paycheck. So I'm not getting paid by the Eagles. So I can draw that line. I can say, Red Sox were fun to work for. I had a blast. Love going up there. Jimmy, you wore the Red Sox. You wore the stirrups for crying out loud. So you know how you can be split on this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
split, Jimmy? Or did you? I know you love your time there, but you're not. You don't consider.
Oh no, I was there a blip. I was only there for 3.5 months.
And Mr. George, you wrote a book, Meet Me at the Bat. So your heart's still good old Yankee, referring to the big bat.
You can't deny your roots. I am trying to start scribbling another one, which will cover those 10 years working with the Red Sox and Bruins, which was fabulous. And honestly, Yankee fans don't believe it, but I loved it because there was so much history up there.
Yes.
Two old-time franchises, and that's what I love about sports. I love it. So I've been to Red Sox fantasy camp twice. I mean, I went. I thought I know the coaches. Wait a minute. This can't be as cool as what Jimmy has. I have it right here in the desk, but I'll take it out. When we went in 13, there it is.
Oh, there you go. The championship ring.
Nice.
We won a ring at fantasy camp.
Nice.
I can't wear that too often, but now, Jimmy, you've been to fantasy camp, right? You've worked it.
I do them every year. Yep. Every
So
year.
what's that like for you? Have you gotten another ring, a little extra bling down there? They get that college Cracker Jack ring?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, they always give me the new guys coming in. So I get the rookies every year.
George, this is a funny subject, but not to bounce all around. One of our dear friends and my pitching coach and GM with the Newark Bears, Mike Torres.
I remember. Sure.
A torn situation there. Mike was a great pitcher for the Red Sox. But prior to that, he won the World Series with the Yankee and would have been the MVP in '77 if not for Reggie hitting 3 home runs. But then Mike gets an extra $25,000 a year, goes to the Red Sox, and gives up the famous Bucky Blanken-Dent home run. So talk about a guy being really torn. But I believe Mike does fantasy stuff for the Red Sox and goes on the cruises with the Red Sox. But it's his World Series Yankee ring that he has the most pride in.
That's it. Well, it's funny when Mike was your GM, I came out there. I was doing a series called Then and Now.
Yep.
And I interviewed Mike about that. And when I did the story, our sports director had gone to news. He was sitting right next to me. And the whole point of my story was, like you just said, that he'd have been the MVP of the World Series. He caught the last out of the World Series.
Good.
But everybody forgets about it because of the home run. And when we were done, Kurt looks at me and he says, I didn't know that. And I'm like, that's what I do.
The big taco. Quite
He was great. Timmy Raines was there. It was great. Loved it.
We had Timmy Raines, Ron Karkovice, Mike Torres. I mean, then we had 21 Major League guys on our team. I mean, ESPN used to joke we were the 31st Major League Baseball team. And unfortunately, now they knocked that stadium down. Another subject for another day. Just terrible.
Yes.
But all right, I'm going to call you out. So what's the score? What are you taking before I let you go here? Because we appreciate you on this Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, happy to do it. I've been like formulating who's going to score and how they're going to score. I think I've got it at 30-26 Chiefs.
All right, here's the real important question for the three of you. Heads or tails?
Oh, well, got to go heads. Easy, right?
Jimmy?
Jimmy's got a great head. Come on, dude.
I'm going to take more money. I'm trying to go tails.
You? The coin is one of the bigger bets that you can vote.
I could care less about any of this.
But you literally could start your betting. You could start your betting by saying it's going to be heads or tails, believe it or not. That's hysterical.
Hey, more importantly, Robin, for you, this is more up your alley. What's going to be Rihanna's first song? It's a halftime show.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, here we go.
I don't even know really what is her popular songs.
Umbrella.
Oh, okay. So maybe that'll be the first one.
And
But wait, haven't they figured out yet how to take a coin and weight it so that it'll?
Oh yeah, you want them to fix the Super Bowl?
Nice.
I never understood how
Conspiracy early.
if you asked me to sing the national anthem, right? Or let's just say you knew my style of singing, right? Or if I had a background track if I wasn't doing it a cappella and I had a background track like Whitney Houston had musicians, right? She sang to a backup track. She had a huge orchestra, By the way, nobody will ever top that, ever, 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 except Carrie Underwood did almost as good of a job, if not as, but whatever. You're never going to come close to
Hey,
what-
Heads
Neil
or
Diamond
tails,
was pretty
Robin?
solid.
Like, heads or tails.
No, because it's the same thing. It's this.
Well, you can bet the timing.
I know that's where I'm getting
That's
at.
what she's getting at.
I'm segueing it because it's the stupid bet. Because if you were to, how do you know when I was rehearsing that one of those musicians didn't say, "Oh, this was way under 230,"
Yeah.
and I didn't call a friend and I said, "No. She sings in the pocket. She sings back. She's never gonna like. It's not a fair bet, is what I'm saying."
So basically, we got to get Robin to sing the national anthem. The three of us got to load up on the bet.
Oh,
then.
you
I
know
don't
I'll sit back on the beat. You know.
Wait, hang on, Tommy. I got something I want to show you real quick. You
Go
guys,
ahead.
hang on a
Go
second.
ahead.
Well, I guess heads or tails is a little easier unless they figured out a way to wait one of the
It
sides.
is true though. Can you imagine betting the national
I'm just
anthem?
like, they're
And
stupid bets.
that's like, and you're allowed to bet on the national anthem, and you
Yes,
don't.
you are.
And,
Yes,
and
you are.
Scores great. That's a fun bet to make. It's easy. It's like a fair bet, fun bet. But these all stupid bets. Heads, tails, national anthem. How long it's gonna run? Like it's dumb.
what do you got, George?
Oh, well, I think you'll appreciate this. I found this at the Yogi Berra Museum. How's that?
Ah,
Wait a minute.
put it on, Rob.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Oh, we don't have that on the side.
I have it on my new one. Put this one on.
Oh, how about that little
I
Eagles
don't
hat?
like it because it's a
It's the
flat.
only Eagles I can root for right now. I might make
There
that
you
an
go.
Eagles hat.
Now I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a true story. Monty Irvin sent me this hat with his glove.
Nice.
His glove from the 40s. Monty Irvin was living in
Nice.
Alabama and called me and Mark
Wow.
Steele, my GM, and said, I just want to say to you, he had one of his family member, I want to say to you, thank you for now naming the team the Eagles. So Keith Folk, Red Sox, caught the last out of the World Series, Folky, said to Jimmy and I and the team, what's the name of our team? The Eagles or the Bears? And I put the Eagles on one side, Bears, so he called us the Eagle Bears.
This
but-
is for
I
a
mean,
bet.
just call you the Beagles. You can do that.
Doesn't fit on anybody. George, put that back on your head.
I can do that. Hey, put your hat on straight, kid.
He ordered. It's a flat one.
Oh,
Let me
I didn't
see.
order it.
Yeah, but I can fix that. I can, and Jim Lawrence will know the name. I do this on Twitter all the time. The late great Doug Jones showed me how to treat a cap when you get it. This was flat when it showed in. I'll show it for you guys who are. He said, you hold it like this. He had a great accent, and you push and pull simultaneously with your thumbs. Push and pull, bring it together, and in 30 seconds,
There you go.
it's
Jimmy?
the best. So I'm coming for that hat, buddy. I'm
You got
coming
it.
for that button cap.
My father used to put ours in the coffee cup.
Really?
Sit them in the coffee cup, and when they came out, they looked like yours. What about you, Jimmy?
All I know is Doug Jones saved 303 games throwing a changeup. How
Yes, he
great is
did.
that?
Yes, he did.
Well, George,
I
listen,
love
it's always a pleasure to have you on. I appreciate it. You're a staple in New Jersey. I don't know that any reporter's done more about covering New Jersey, even though you spent time up in the old Massachusetts area, but you're a true Jersey
Back
guy.
in my car.
Yeah, respect the hell out of you. And
Thank
enjoy
you.
Super Bowl Sunday. Jimmy and I.
Well, happy birthday,
Oh, thank you. And I promise.
Jimmy. We got to play catch sometime, man. I got my old mitts and stuff. Next time you're in the Garden State, I'll be breaking out that 53-mile-an-hour slider. Let you see if you can handle it. It'll be good.
There you go. Yep, I'll be back up in it. I'll be back up in April.
Say the word, buddy. And
Yeah.
Tommy, same. You guys love seeing you guys. Enjoy the game.
Thanks.
Go
George.
Chiefs, or as they said in the Snickers commercial, go Chefs. We're good. We're good. So,
All right, George. Be good, man.
The great George.
Thanks for joining us.
He he is an encyclopedia of sports in the tri-state area and has had the honor of covering everything from Super Bowls to World Series. Jimmy, interesting twist, though. It is that fun Giant fan, Eagle fan. What do you do? Half of New Jersey split, like Robin jokes around, Taylor ham, pork roll. There's such a divide. In most states, you don't have that. you're the Cowboys are rooting for the Cowboys. I mean, I know there's Houston, the Texans and stuff, but there's a dominant team. Here, our dominant team is the Giants over the Jets. But you have to. The population is not as strong after you get down past exit 82. But you're right. The spunk.
Don't tell them that.
Yeah, the excitement, and they're nasty. I watched a video last night, Jimmy, that Bill Parcells, when Andy Reid became the head coach of the Eagles, went over to him and said, "Hey, kid, you ever need anything, pick up the phone and call me." And he said, "What do you mean, coach?" He goes, "You're coaching in the nastiest city in the NFL. The fans will fry you. It doesn't matter." And Andy Reid went on to explain how he got off to an 0-5 start. And Parcells said, "No call. I couldn't understand." He goes, "So I called him." And he said, "Where you at? Hiding under your desk?" He said, "I'm afraid to leave my office." I mean, they were calling for his head. And obviously he went on to be one of the greater coaches. But coaching today, does the experience, Jimmy, outweigh the rookie kind of coach in the Eagles? What do you think there? How does that come about?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this one's going to be decided by the coaching. Yeah, I think this is a situation with the two quarterbacks, the amount of talent that is on both sides of the ball. I take that back. It's going to come down to the defensive coordinators.
Right.
That's what it's going to come down to.
There's always an unsung hero. Any thoughts?
Yeah. I said A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown.
Here's a guy who came over from Tennessee because he couldn't, agree on a contract over there. Tennessee talked a lot of crap about him when he left, and he goes over to the Eagles and he becomes one of their better, their best wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, now, Jimmy, what do you think about? I mean, we're on the air for an hour, and we're happy to do it for just talk a little stuff on Super Bowl Sunday. We did it last year. We had fun, but the shows are like 8 to 10 hours long today. They're starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, and one of the shows that I love to watch is the NFL channel. And today, and I want both of your feelings on this. Michael Irvin, who's a Hall of Famer, legendary, has his ups and downs and trouble off the field. One of the top announcers allegedly ran into a woman in the hotel down in Arizona, one of the Super Bowl hotels. His claim is he shook her hand. She asked him a couple questions, 45 seconds. They got video of it. He went to his room. She never accompanied him. And then she made a kind of a Me Too movement claim against him. They immediately suspended him and sent him home. And this is one of their top reporters. Fun guy to listen to because he's a Super Bowl champion, a Hall of Famer. Robin, I guess I pose this question to you. Do we just slaughter people right away, or do we get all the facts before we do this? This guy is now missing the game of the year. He's one of their top guys. There's nothing, nobody's come out and said anything, well, we got proof he did this or whatever. They just immediately suspended him. He's so upset, he retaliated, and his lawyer issued a $100 million lawsuit against the NFL. I got 3 daughters. You know how protective of I am. Are you? Are we just getting a little carried away to judge people and find them guilty before we get all the facts?
I mean,
as a woman,
thank you for asking. But I think you kind of answered your own question because.
Well, I'm not a woman. I want your feeling as what does it aggravate you?
I don't even know if this is a woman-man thing to a certain extent. If you can't just fire someone without.
Cause.
And I feel like there's got to be more to the story because I don't know how somebody would just pull that away from him. So it's kind of hard for me to even comment on it because I don't really, it doesn't totally make sense to me. So there has to be more to this story.
And Jimmy and I, Robin, as you know, have got a beat in.
And if there's not more to the story, then I hope he gets his $100 million.
Yeah, Jimmy and I have got a beaten, and then for things maybe that we did or we were involved in a situation, and then when we were found not guilty or whatever, you found it on the back page or buried in the obituary section. But Jimmy, this guy is sent home in the most important game of the year. And have you heard anything? What are you hearing? Are you hearing that there's more smoke to this fire or what?
You know what? I'm actually hearing it for the first time.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
This is Michael Irvin, and he's one of the, he's one of the best on TV. He's a colorful guy, and they got a 4-man team, and it's Mooch, former coach, and Eisen, and Michael Irvin, and Kurt Warner. Who's it's just sad. I mean, and by the way, if he did something wrong, go ahead, nail him to the cross. I don't care, but why not tell us that you have some evidence and something will be coming out? You just bury him. And so I don't know what the situation is. Next week, we might be sitting here and you might be saying to me, see, there was a reason, there was smoke, we found a fire. But I'm just saying, can we get all the facts before we ruin people's lives? Maybe that I'm taking that a little personal, and I should. And Jimmy takes it personal. I know that. But it's just tough. And, I'm literally over my shoulder. We have our TV on with the NFL channel, and there they all are, but him, so it's one of those things. But Jimmy, what's your favorite food of the day for Super Bowl?
I'm a chicken wing guy.
Yeah, we got a bunch of chicken wings coming. And what about you there, birthday chick? What do you?
I like wings and beer on a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I like a good wings and beer and nachos and bread, and I like that. That's my favorite.
It's
part.
amazing how it's become really a national holiday. It really is, where people gather and enjoy.
And yet we're still finding reasons to fight, right?
Yeah, except like I say, put your weapons down for a day. Can we enjoy the game? And you're right to your earlier point, and George joined us, and I cut you off. There's a Jesus commercial coming on, and they're going to try to divide. Some of the commercials will try to divide our country. One of them I seen as a tribute to Olivia Newton-John. John Travolta's doing.
I mean, if somebody has a problem with that, then they're un-American altogether.
Well, you have a bunch of atheists that'll be upset that the commercial.
Olivia Newton-John?
Oh no, I thought you meant the Jesus.
Grease?
Yeah.
It's a staple. It's I mean, gosh, it's summer lovin'. I mean, really, if you have a problem with Grease, I'm sure people do, right? Kanicki was a scumbag. So
who knows?
Yeah, Sandy was, dumb.
What do you think about Brady taking a year off, Jimmy? You think it's a good thing? We've all been there. The three of us have been divorced. You got to focus on your kids.
Rizzo
maybe.
was a hooker.
All right.
I mean, like, there's always ways to make things bad when they're not.
Exactly. You can spin it any way you want. Jimmy, what are you thinking? What do you think about that? Taking a year off, and he said he's going to focus on his kids.
No, I think that's he needs to do that. I think the kids have been through. You imagine what him and Giselle are going through, but they're adults, and these kids are going through not knowing one thing or another. The accusations about her sleeping with somebody, and that's why it ended. And then, of course, they hear the other side of the story that it's because he went back to play football. That's why it ended. And so the confusion for these children have to be crazy. And I think, yeah, you know what? You need to go home. You need to spend a year of just, I don't know what the friendship's going to be between him and her, but you, as parents, you have to make a concerted effort to make sure that the kids understand and that you both are on the same page, because you don't want the kids growing up with two different stories from two different parents.
And you and I had this conversation.
Well, there'll be three, Jimmy, because these kids have to actually watch the media talking about it, which is even worse than your regular run-of-the-mill divorce. It's devastating for the kids because they're going to school and they're hearing, what their parents might have heard on television or other, so that makes my heart hurt for them, because it's a whole added element to divorce, right?
I don't know if you know this story, Robin. It's and Jimmy and I, we'll share it. He's wrote a book, but Jimmy gave up. And he was with us rehab, and he gave up sport to go raise his three boys.
No, I do know that story. Yeah.
And we were walking down the right field line, Jimmy, at Bear Stadium. I'll never forget it. And you looked at me, and I said, "You're going to miss the game?" And you said, "Yeah." And I said, "But the most important title you'll ever have is dad." And you backed that up, And no home run gave you more satisfaction than being a dad. And I hope Brady can take this year off and kind of do the same. Joe Caruso, Jimmy, is telling us to have a great Super Bowl. Happy birthday, Robin. Enjoy your special day.
Thank you, Joe.
To an early SB party to first watch women's basketball. LSU versus South Carolina. 23-0 versus 24-0. Enjoy. You
That's
know,
going to be a big game.
Big game in the
Big
women's
game.
side of sports. Is the Victoria's Secrets Super Bowl on this year? I know that.
I don't know.
Exactly. We're not allowed to watch that anymore. I don't even know if they do that. But that being said, you know, I have not made a pick yet.
Oh my gosh, I was up all last night thinking who you wanted to win.
It's not about who I want to win. I think I might have to put a little action on the game.
Oh,
And
so
Jimmy,
are you saying on television that you're gonna be?
well, it's
betting?
all well. That's the funny part. Like we banned Pete Rose. Now I'm really getting off the beaten track because he gambled on sports. But now every commercial that through the Super Bowl, every other one will be about a gambling commercial. So I'm gonna say
I know who you're picking.
who.
You're picking the Chiefs.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna bet the Eagles. I'm gonna go with the King, and I'm gonna bet the Eagles from a pure betting standpoint, not a rooting standpoint against the Giants.
Well, don't put a lot of money on it.
They're
All right.
They're winning 31-28.
All right. I mean, whatever.
I don't know who to my two partners that live in apartment A and B in this house are picking. I think
They can't pick the Eagles. They hate the Eagles.
I think Michael's picking the Chiefs. I didn't talk to Joey yet.
There's no way they would pick the Eagles. There's no way.
Jimmy, what time do you start watching this sporting event? I know you'll be on the road for a couple hours. Do you enjoy the pregame, or does it get like, geez, 3-4 hours? You know.
Yeah, I mean, the game starts at 3:30 our time out here. That's why I said at 2:00 we're probably head to the bar. I actually want to watch the end of the Phoenix Open. You know, the Waste Management.
With that, I put a little picture up of me at the old stadium course. Tried to find one of you. How outrageous is it, Robin? I was saying, Robin, you got to watch this. They're throwing beer. I mean, it goes. But the hole before, you're not allowed to even talk. When Jordan looked at a guy like the other day, like, "Oh my God, you just talk." But the next hole, they're throwing beer on him as he's walking there. Who's closing this out today? Speed's in the running. Scheffler's ahead. Who do you like to close it? John Rahm is. I don't know that anybody's hotter than John Rahm, but who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Rahm's going to win it, but I'd like to see one of these new kids like Hadwig or one of these guys that that's the Taylor, But I would also kind of want to see Jordan Spieth because I feel bad for this kid.
Well, Ricky Fowler broke out a little bit the last couple of weeks. He's playing a lot better, and he's a likable guy. But he's, I think, 9 under or 10. But the other guy's going to have to come back to the crowd a little bit because he's tough, man.
Yeah,
he's master.
We'll see what happens, but so I want to be able to watch the end of that, and then of course all the Super Bowl coverage.
Me too. I'm going out for.
By the way,
go
ahead. Finish.
I'm saying on my next hour, I go out. Joey's got his driving permit, so I'll have my life in my hands, and he'll drive me around. He's actually a good driver, and then I'll come back, watch the golf right into the Super Bowl, which will be a fun day. Of course, waiting on the birthday girl throughout the day.
All right. As I'm reading this article about Michael Irvin, I'm even getting more upset because this is ridiculous.
Isn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah. If this woman is somebody he met in a lobby, I don't even care if he had a confrontation with her.
Right.
If it's, and he says it's all on video, that it was very cool. And there was witnesses. Where does the network get off by just firing this guy? And last there's a video of her going upstairs to his hotel room, but he's claiming that never happened.
Right.
And all the witnesses said he left, and they separated, and there was no controversy. There was no screaming and yelling at each other. There was no confrontation. How do they just?
I don't know. Because listen, he's had a tough life off the field, but he straightened his act out, and he's been nothing but fabulous and doing great. And from Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cab, people support him in a big way. And man, you just drop an atom bomb on the guy, and it's just it's just terrible. We got a minute to go. You changing your pick, or you going with the Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Changing your pick, or you going with the Eagles?
Eagles 34-31.
I'm going with the Eagles myself. Listen, everybody, enjoy. Take a day off. It's a holiday. Let's enjoy the Super Bowl. There's enough politics and craziness going on in the world.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a good day.
You
Jimmy,
guys.
safe trip to San Diego. We'll talk Monday.
All right.
Good, how are you? Oh, thank you. I guess on the table. What, maybe on the stove then. Okay, thank you.
Hold on, Rob. I'm coming.
Do you mind if I just keep this cracked? Absolutely.
Oh, God.
I am ready, homie. It's good.
Look how you going out? Go to your father first.
We gotta get my up there. Oh, no, thank you. Hi, how are you? Thank you. This is the first date, and then everything else should be. Have you done everything? Okay, good. Enjoy, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nice day. Thank you.
Oh, that paper, gosh, I really.
Thank you.
You
picked it all out.
It's really nice.
Thank you.
All right, so where did you go?
Here.
I don't think it's gonna be that difficult.
No.
We're early, but all-
Yeah, I'll, we'll, just tell me what the instructions are and I'll do it. I have another thing to do. But, oh, and the buffalo chicken dip, we don't need any more dip. Just, that's it, right? Just the sweet potato slice.
All right.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Go.
You what?
Let's go.
All right, hold on. I gotta get my shit. I gotta just take my shot. Give me 1 second.
Take a shot up your ass. I get shit done.
You don't get anything done. What are you talking about?
What you mean, what?
Need my glasses.
Yo ass. Tripping.
Ugh. 1 second. I think the keys are on the table.
Oh shit. Yo. I didn't get her present yet, and I wanna go get her flowers.
You wanna go get her what?
Flowers.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna go get money. How much you think they are?
I can give it to you, but it's like $25. That's it.
$25 for one? But it's for me and Mike.
Yeah, we'll just get her. We'll go to King's and get the flowers that you put in the vase.
Are they good or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how much
like
are they? I need to go get money.
$30.
Thomas. Thomas.
Yeah?
Where's Thomas?
You talking to me?
Where's Tommy?
I'm in the studio, right? In the bathroom, maybe? I don't know.
Thomas.
See,
What?
I've never seen someone here. He's not even picking it up.
Ready? Yeah. Get ready. Keys. Where do I have the keys? Crap. Alright, well. Alright. We'll be back.
All right, have fun.
It'll be a while.
I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Oh, okay. Awesome. All right, thank you. Have fun, guys. Drive safe. Okay.